Hey, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home. I want to talk about decks. I want to give you some pros and cons, things I've experienced, things I've kind of never want to do again. And I've cut my teeth on decks more than I have anything else, more than I have concrete, excavation, electrical, you name it. I've learned more about construction from decks and how I prefer to do them versus how other people sometimes do them. One of the things I never ever do, and this is just from my experience and what I've learned, is I never put a deck over conditioned space. Meaning this is the living space of the home. I never put a deck over a living space, because an exposed deck like this one is right now, it's currently not covered, which we'll talk about in a second. It's an exposed deck, exposed to the elements, wind, rain, sleet, the works. You've got to fight all those elements to keep them from getting inside the conditioned space. So that's the thing I try to avoid in every build I ever do. And if I see someone do it, I say, you're going to fight the elements, try not to do that. The second thing I like to do is I actually like to cover my decks. I don't like exposed decks like this, and there's a lot of reasons why. Again, you're fighting elements. Most people enjoy shade. Most people enjoy a nice breezy day like this. The sun on my back is really hot right now, even though there's a cool breeze. I'd rather enjoy the cool breeze rather than the sun on my back. Now, if I'm sunbathing, that's one thing, and if you're a sunbather down in San Diego, you may want to have an exposed deck like that. I get it. You love the sun. You want that vitamin D3. I get it, all right? But most of the time, people enjoy the breeze, the view, without the sweat and without the hot sun. Cover your deck. The benefits are, in my mind, far more important, especially as you go through life and you want to enjoy that deck at just about any time. If it's raining outside, like it was on the weekend, but it's really nice, it's kind of balmy, 79 degrees, 76 degrees, and there's a nice rainstorm, you want to come out and enjoy that without getting wet. That's the benefit of an enclosed deck that's covered. We're going to come back in a week. I'm going to show you this is now exposed to the elements and how it's going to feel, what it's going to look like when it's covered. And the pros of that, to me, are just invaluable. Plus, I don't like maintenance issues, and that's going to solve for a lot of the maintenance issues. So see you back here in a week. Okay, now we've got this deck covered in, all the way with the wraparound deck going around that way. We're in the middle of framing still, but you can actually see what I'm talking about. Having an enclosed deck, meaning covered, is a real benefit to your home. Well, first of all, it's going to cut down on your weathering against your fenestration, which is all your windows and your door openings and stuff like that. It's really going to help. Plus, your maintenance on the deck is cut down substantially. And then for this deck out here, all I have are these exposed beams, these 8x8 beams. We're just going to stain those, and that's really all my maintenance. We got a nice slope, which is a positive slope away from the home. Again, the benefits, but to me, the biggest benefit of all, we're doing pros and cons here, is that when it's raining outside or even snowing, I can come out and I can enjoy the outdoors. I'm up here in the trees if you're building in a mountain, or if you have a view and it's got a little bit of a rain, you can come out and enjoy that. I've seen a lot of people really enjoy their decks more because they're enclosed or covered. But for me, it's that plus the maintenance. And I grew up in the bed and breakfast industry. My grandpa built decks. None of them were covered. And the maintenance on those was terrible. And so I said to myself, I love the decks, but if I'm ever going to build decks, I'm going to make sure that they're all covered. And it adds a lot of character to the home. So check out this deck. This is the before and after. And I'm just giving you some pros and cons, but I'm leaving heavily on the side of making sure you cover your decks.